Famous hauntings in history. Like Ebeneezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, many of us may glance around suspiciously as we head upstairs for bed as Halloween draws near and the nights get colder and darker. There's no denying that things that go bump in the night concern our forefathers. Throughout history, stories of ghosts have been documented worldwide, ranging from apparitions in ancient temples to contemporary poltergeists in suburban semis. While some ghost tales have drawn curiosity and skepticism, others have attracted enthusiastic audiences. Regardless of the veracity, individuals who dare to read these historical narratives nonetheless get shivers down their spines. We examine 8 of the most well-known ghosts in history here. Number 8. The Pausanias. Following his death, the renowned Spartan general Pausanias, possibly the most well-known ghost of antiquity, kept making waves as a ghost. He had defeated the Persians at the naval battle of Plataea in 479 BC. The talented general was adored by the Spartans, but after a slight falling out, he approached the Persian king, Xerxes, feeling betrayed. After Pausanias' betrayal was exposed, he was hunted down and imprisoned alive inside the Spartan temple of Athena. Then the general's ghost began to haunt the temple, prowling around and letting forth spine-tingling screams and groans. A so-called magician eventually convinced this ancient poltergeist to leave the temple. Number 7. The Bingen Poltergeist. A tale of a poltergeist frightening a farmer in the Rhine Valley can be found in the Annales Fuldenses, which was written in Fulda, Germany in the 9th century AD. The man, who lived close to Bingen, was plagued by the bothersome ghost for a while. The ghost was said to shake the farmhouse, toss stones ferociously, light fires in the crops and farm buildings, and even yell at the farmer, accusing him of having affairs with young women. Locals were rumored to reject the unhappy individual since the poltergeist followed him about. Number 6. Anne Boleyn. Queen Anne of Tudor fame is arguably one of the most well-known historical ghosts in Britain, if not the entire world. Her ghost has been sighted throughout Britain over the ages, including the Tower of London, Windsor Castle, Blickling Hall, and Hever Castle in Kent, where Anne spent her early years. Frequently sighted without a head, she serves as a terrifying reminder of her demise at the hands of her spouse, King Henry VII, in 1536. It should come as no surprise that Anne's favorite haunt has been the Tower of London, where she was executed. A well-known sighting occurred in 1864. A woman's figure glided toward a tower guard one night as he kept watch over the old courtyard where Anne perished. The guard leaped at her with his bayonet, assuming she was genuine even though her feet were not touching the ground. The guard passed out as he charged straight through the woman. The unfortunate man was brought before a court-martial on charges of neglecting his responsibilities, but he was spared by General Dundas, who stated in his testimony that he had also witnessed Anne's ghost that evening. Number 5. The Drummer of Tedworth. One of the most well-known ghost stories in British history. The Drummer of Tedworth is an early example of a poltergeist case. The drummer, a middle-aged pauper named William Drury, had his prized instrument stolen in March 1661 by Tedworth, Wiltshire, Magistrate John Mompesson, as a punishment for counterfeiting. A nearby bailiff then brought the drum to Mompesson's residence. Then, all around the home, the Mompessons could hear the unsettling sound of the drum striking on its own. Among them was a ghost. For months, there were weird lights, fetid odors, mattresses being thrown around, scratches, and even the sounds of dogs and cats throughout the haunting. The unsettling specter tormented visitors, attendants, a neighborhood blacksmith, and even Mompesson's horse, which was said to have passed away from fear. Mompesson even reported hearing the ghost's voice and seeing it. As word got out, a large number of people, including the Reverend Joseph Glanville, who claimed to have seen the phenomenon and wrote about it in a book published in 1681, went to the house. Drury acknowledged in 1663 that he was the one who caused the hauntings to occur remotely. He was found guilty of witchcraft and given a transportation sentence. The hauntings ceased while he was abroad, and the poltergeist returned to England with him following his flight. It is unknown when the drummer stopped attacking the Maupassants, although it is likely not long after. Number 4. The Ghost of Cock Lane. The Cock Lane ghost, who made headlines in London in 1762, is undoubtedly one of the most well-known of all the spirits in Britain. It was stated that a poltergeist was frightening the residents of a home on Cock Lane in Smithfield. The family reported seeing the phantom with their own eyes after it began to make loud pounding noises. Many people came to the house in droves after hearing about the haunting on Cock Lane, many of them saying they saw the spirit for themselves. The raucous ghost then asserted to be Fanny, a past tenant of the property who had shared it with Mr. Kent, the poltergeist known as Scratching Fanny, and disclosed that Kent had killed her. Eventually, the Cock Lane ghost was discovered to be a fake, a blackmail plot carried out by Richard Parsons, a resident of the property, and Elizabeth, his 11-year-old daughter. Richard Parsons received his just desserts, being publicly humiliated and receiving a 2-year prison sentence. Number 3. The Bell Witch. The Bell Witch is arguably the most well-known ghost in American history. John Bell and his big family were haunted by a violent, malevolent poltergeist in 1817 at their farmhouse in Tennessee. The sounds began with unexplained scratching and rapping. Then furniture was pushed around, bedclothes were hurled forcefully off, and there was physical assault, including pinching and slapping. The 12-year-old daughter of the Bells would act abnormally during disruptions, sometimes fainting or entering a trance. Before long, the spirit spoke, identifying herself as Old Kate Batts, a local witch, in an odd, raspy voice. Following multiple violent attacks, on December 20, 1820, John Bell passed away, perhaps from poisoning at the hands of bats. The witch reappeared for a brief while after going missing for 7 years, but not before drawing attention from the public and guests to the farmhouse, one of whom was reportedly future President Andrew Jackson. Number 2. The Duleep Singh Maharaja. When Victor Duleep Singh, the well-known Crown Prince of Punjab, traveled to Berlin in October 1893 with Lord Carnarvon, he had a rather peculiar incident. Later, the prince recounted the event as follows, using his own words. "I turned in for the night, leaving the room bright with the usual electric light. I noticed that I was staring at an oleograph that was hanging on the wall across from my bed as I lay there. I could see my father, Maharaja Duleep Singh, staring at me in this photograph. It wasn't a portrait of him. It was his actual head." The prince told Lord Carnarvon the following morning that he thought his father had passed away after seeing the apparition of his father in the painting. Singh received word via telegram that evening that his father had passed away after a seizure. Before the incident, they were unaware of Victor's father's sickness, according to Lord Carnarvon. Number 1. Abraham Lincoln. There is a possibility that the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, who served as the 16th President of the United States and was killed in 1865, is among the most well-known ghosts in the history of contemporary times. Throughout the years, several people who have lived in the well-known Washington building have claimed to have witnessed the ghost of the assassinated president. These individuals include Theodore Roosevelt, Grace Coolidge, and guests such as Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands, who passed out after seeing the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. Winston Churchill, who was a frequent visitor to the White House, was reportedly seen climbing out of his bath at the famous house and walking naked into the bedroom. The chief of the British military during the war was taken aback when he saw Lincoln standing by the fireplace. Lincoln grinned and then vanished after Churchill welcomed him with his trademark humor. Churchill then greeted him. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.